All right, we're on. So welcome
Okay.
everyone. Thank you for coming to our webinar today. Before we start, I'm going to introduce myself, and a presenter for today will also introduce herself. I think that this is going to be one of the most interactive webinar we've ever had. So um, yeah, I want you to start getting excited about it.
And don't get
So
scared, get excited.
true, yeah. Okay, so as most of you already know, my name is William Otuk. I am the country coordinator specialist for the International Youth Alliance for Family Planning. I am based in Tanzania. Um, yeah, that's pretty much about me. And my colleague is going to introduce herself.
Hi everyone. So my name is Marietta and I'm IYAFP's Director of Public Relations and a consultant for partnerships. So I'm very excited to have a chance to talk to you all about this today.
Cool.
Awesome. Otuk, before we get started, I would love for our attendees to be able to say who's on the line, etc., because I can't even see them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so yeah, we have Mohammed who Edaba who typed in the question box saying, "Hi, dear, anybody there?" Oh, yeah, we all here. So, Marietta, you want them to unmute themselves and speak? Like,
Yeah, sure. Maybe everyone can just say their name and their country at least. That would be really nice. And there's going to be more chances for you all to talk later on. So don't come out with everything right now, but it would still be nice to hear who's on the line.
okay. Anybody
Can you
want to
make that
start?
happen?
That's Ankita. You're on mute. Unmute. Can you say something? Okay.
Okay, that doesn't seem to
So
be working out great.
yeah. That's what I thought. Okay. I guess we can. They can chat. I mean, like they can type in the chat box.
Okay.
Uh,
But it's not
who
possible
they
for
are,
me
where
to
they're
read what
from,
they say, right?
and then I can reading that out loud.
Oh, perfect.
Maybe do you want to start as they do that?
I cannot read what they're writing. It's not visible for me.
Oh, they haven't started writing anything yet. So,
Oh,
um,
that's why maybe.
well, no. Yeah, I see some. Um, okay, so Zifa from Ghana typed, said Zifa from Ghana, and Kita said, sorry, I had trouble with my mic. That's okay, Ankita. Charles Godway from Cameroon is here, and Sadia from Bangladesh. Um, so yeah, those are the people who wrote something already. But we also have other people. We have Lo, we have Maria Agostina from Argentina. We have Roseanne, and some other people who I recognize they're not country coordinators, but we welcome them.
Okay, awesome. I would say let's get started then. Is that
Sure.
okay?
Yep,
Let me know, Otuk, can you see the presentation?
I can see it. Yes.
Perfect. Okay, everyone. So first of all, I'm really happy to have you all here today. For those of you who are not IYFP coordinators, I'm especially excited to have you here, and I hope this will be really interesting for you because it's a little IY specifics in some ways, but we will see. There's certain elements that are certainly that are certainly interesting for everyone. Okay, so as I said before, as a director of partnerships, I often receive questions from different country coordinators. And there's always so many questions and so many different cases. And I want you all to feel very comfortable about reaching out to me to ask your questions for your more specific cases. And as many of you know, I will leave the executive team soon, and my colleague Brenda, who can't be here today, unfortunately, will take over from me. And Brenda is incredibly nice and great, so feel free to ask her all the questions as well, and she will soon introduce herself to you all. So I'm glad about everyone's excitement about partnerships, which I know from all the emails I receive. There's so much work already happening, and I get a lot of questions about the general procedures. So I'm happy to talk about this a little bit today. Oh, it's not working. No, sorry, folks. Here the presentation stops. Okay, let's see. Okay. No, this is not what it's supposed to do. Yeah, so what we will do today, the three parts of our conversation today about building partnerships. So we will start with talking about a couple of examples that have already happened in IY's history. Then we will talk about the general steps of how to build a partnership. And then we will do a little mock partnership conversation that you're welcome to participate in. So get excited. I want to start first with saying the partnerships that we are discussing here today are all on local and national level, because IYAFP's global partnerships are working out a little differently, but we are not going to elaborate on that today, but rather focus on country partnerships, so the partnerships that you're all handling personally. Okay, so I want to start with a couple of examples on country and local level. So, for example, we've had really amazing projects together with Mary Stopes. And the reason why I'm bringing up Mary Stopes here is that we have had different examples for partnerships with clinics, healthcare providers, etc. So this is a larger category that we are talking about here. So, for example, in Mali, we had an amazing project organized by our CC Edouard. So he organized, for example, debates about the benefits of family planning, and I think 5 educational workshops and SRHR, as well as advocacy meetings with religious leaders. And throughout these debates and workshops, he distributed contraception via the mobile Mary Stopes clinic. So this is a great example about how a CC has been working with a partner in a way that both helps IYAFP as well as a partner, which is providing contraception, making contraception and information available, which is both Mary Stopes and our goal. In that case, another element of partnership came in, because a lot of different media like newspapers and radio stations helped Edouard spread the word. So this is another level of partnerships that came through this project that had Mary Stopes as a core partner, but also had media as different partners. So another example was that Amanda, our former CC in Uganda, helped Mary Stopes with making their services more youth-friendly and also just more accessible to youth. So, for example, the IY team there helped with organizing and designing the youth corner of the Mary Stopes clinic. So when that was done, they organized a flash mob and talks in universities in order to bring youth into the clinic. And so, yeah, this is another great example of how both of the partners really benefited from the partnership. Another huge category of partners that often come up are educational institutions. So these can be schools, youth clubs, university groups in general. So we've had a couple of different ones here that I would like to talk to you about. So Ploy, our former CC in Thailand, met with teachers of primary and secondary schools in order to talk about sexuality education. And what she learned was that a lot of teachers were really struggling with the high rates of teenage pregnancy. that they were thinking came from a really unpractical and not useful curriculum in schools. So Ploy and her team went to primary and secondary schools and talked to the students there, gave them information and sexuality education, which really helped fulfill a gap in the school curriculum. So again, here IYAFP was fulfilling its goal, but also the school, the students really benefited. And the teachers who had identified the gap before were really happy with that. Another one was our country coordinator, Tom, who gave workshops to nurses and different healthcare professionals. So they organized workshops as well as a theater session and really brought in a different angle to family planning and really were able to show the specific needs that youth have. So again, here youth needs were being met, the services were being made more youth-friendly, and of course the partner benefited as well because they can fulfill their work better now. And one last example was Inga Beer, our former CC of Rwanda, who trained trainers. So youth who are not trainers yet became trainers through their workshops, who then worked with youth clubs all around the city and brought, so they basically were multipliers and brought the education there. So again, here it's a partnership between youth clubs and IYAFP for, really a mutual benefit. So these were just a couple of examples, but I want to give you more resources in case you just want to read up on different examples that we have had. So the first one is check out our annual report. When you go to the IY website, you can just scroll down and there's a list of different reports that you can download. That report has a bunch of really interesting examples. For many of you, it's true that you have a former CC in your country. So feel free to reach out to learn from them and really learn about your country specifics in terms of partnerships. And then, as many of you know, there's a list on Podio about connections that we have already had. And I'm showing you that list right now because it's incredibly important for us to keep updating this. So this is our Podio workspace. We are in the CC lobby. When you click on partnerships, right in the middle in the apps, all these partnerships are visible and there's different categories to it. And I really ask you to take a look what's already existing in your country, but also to keep updating this list. It's really important that you enter each partnership here and that you update the status and different elements to this, different pieces of information, because that will not only make it easier for you to have a great overview, but also for the next CC in your country. Okay, so this was the element on the partnerships that we already have. Okay. So many of the emails that I receive are really about the steps of building a partnership on local or national level. So I want to talk to that a little bit, but please remember that we also have that in the communications manual, which is also on Podio, but we'll talk about that a little bit more later. So what I think is really, really important and what often falls short is to do research. So what I mean by do your research is both internal and external. So external, that would be like Google what organizations exist. Maybe visit meetings done by other organizations. Check out which coalitions exist in your area. And just really try to get an overview about the field that you are working in. That can be your city, your district, or also your country, depending on what the structures are like in your specific context. Many of you are also familiar with a lot of emails that I keep sending y'all because sometimes partners sign up on our website, which are emails that I receive in the first place. So these emails are always forwarded into your inbox. And so this is also, of course, a way of identifying partners who you know are already excited. So the reason why we are having this sheet here is that I really want you to take enough time to reflect on what kind of partners you need and what you have to offer. It's really important that you know your strength as an organization, which in IY's case is often about really knowing youth needs, being rooted in youth networks, and having access to youth. So that's great, but we want to make sure, especially as youth, to not be exploited. So think about what kind of projects you want to run, what kind of support you need, and really, yeah, identify partners that are useful to you. And as shown in the examples, there's many different kinds of partners. So some partners are, for example, media, some are clinics, they're healthcare providers. Some have different kinds of resources, for example, training curricula or a space to work. And some of them are really partners to do advocacy with, to run campaigns, to do projects. And yeah, that's really specific and is absolutely dependent on what you're excited about. So yeah, make sure to know what you want so that you can get the partnerships that really support you in doing that. Okay, here we are at the very heart of how to build a partnership. Yeah, these steps, of course, are not fully straightforward, like they can come in different orders, or sometimes you skip one, sometimes you go back to one. So don't take this as like a one-on-one what you have to follow. But the way it starts often is that after you have identified a partner and yeah, really done your research and have put some thoughts into how you would like to work with these partners, that you reach out to them. And sometimes, of course, that's the other way around because they reached out to you, either to our partnerships inbox or to your country inbox. But yeah, this is often the first steps and the first step, and I highly recommend sticking to email with that, because as we have often realized is that even if you have great conversations, if you don't have anything written out, it just falls through the cracks. Okay, so the second step is please add that information to Podio, because we have realized if CCs don't do this right away, it often will just not be remembered later on. So make sure once you're building a new connection, you're right away entering them onto Podio. So the next step is, did they respond to your email? If that's the case, awesome. Follow up with them. If that's not the case, it's okay to follow up with them. I would give it around 2 weeks or something like that, also dependent on like holidays or whatever has been going on in your country at the time. But it's absolutely okay to send reminders. With whatever you're sending, be sure to be professional and to be very polite and not pushy in any way. And we'll talk a little bit more about this later because we have some documents that will make that easier for you. So let's say they responded either right away or at a later point. So we highly recommend meeting up with them. So what I mean by that is you can also, of course, meet online or have a phone call, but often it's really, really useful to talk to them and get a feeling of what their interests are, what their focus areas are, and what they want from IY, of course. When you have met up with them, when you are meeting up with them, come prepared. I'm sorry, it's cut off here on the sheet. But what I mean by that is come prepared and really, really know what you want and what you want from them to make sure that you're not just being tokenized or exploited. After a first meeting, it's important to not jump into conclusions, to not jump into starting a project right away, but take some time to consider if these are the right conditions for you, if it's the right time, if there's somebody else who is better. Just, yeah, take time to consider. And then make plans. What is it that you want to do with them exactly? And yeah, often what's needed to start a really thorough partnership is to meet again and to figure out details, to figure out how this is mutually best for both. When you're on the right track and you have a feeling like both partners are interested, both of them know what they want to do, they both know what they're getting into, sign an MOU. An MOU is a memorandum of understanding, and it's basically a contract between two organizations. That means it's a contract that tells you what you're supposed to do and what you're not doing. It's about how to use the other organization's logo. if you're exchanging money in any way, which in our case is normally not the case, if you can use their offices, etc. So I'll show you an example for an MOU later. And yeah, again, and I know I sound like a broken record, but make sure to update Podio and not just enter the partner information, but also to update it according to how that partnership is going. Okay, I think that was a lot of information. And of course, you'll have a chance later on to ask questions about each of these steps. Okay. I promised you a couple of documents beforehand, and I know that many of you are familiar with that. All these documents need to be adjusted, so make sure that you read them thoroughly and use them for whatever you exactly want them to use. So we have 3 main documents that are really, really important and that are all on Podio, and I'll show you where in case you haven't seen them. Okay, so again, we are in the CC lobby, and we are at the 3rd app, which is called IYAFP Documents. It has a category called partnerships, and everything that falls beyond partnerships or partenariat are really useful documents that you need to adjust. And we only have them in English and French right now. And of course, especially, and I know Maria, you're here, you might want to translate those into Spanish if you have time for that. That would certainly be amazing. And for everybody else, of course, that's something that you might want to do as well, depending on your country, depending on if English and French are languages there that are useful. And if you do translate them, please share them with us. We are sure that other CCs would love to have those as well. Okay. Also, we have a letter of introduction, which you can tweak in order to fit your purposes. It's a letter that has all the main information about IYAFP, like what it is that we do, our approaches, and it can be useful to send to a partner after the first drafted email of reaching out, just in order to give them an understanding what IYAFP really is. And sometimes partners like it when things look a little bit more official. And then many, many steps later, here's the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding. We can take a brief look at that. It basically, yeah, as I said, looks like a contract. So here it is. You click here, and then you open it. No. Okay, so when you look at this, everything that is marked yellow, you need to adjust to your organization. And it's not only that part, some of these things are pretty clear and they're just about values. So for example, about IYAFP's general mission, which of course we hope that the other partner agrees on as well. But then when you scroll down, everything that's entirely marked yellow are things that you might want to take out. So I'm telling you this in such detail because what has happened quite a lot, unfortunately, is that CCs forget to take out certain sections. So just make sure that this section here that's all marked yellow is really about what you and your partner organization promised to each other. So if that's about using logos or physical space, sharing other kinds of resources, yeah, just make sure. And if you have trouble with formulating those specifics, please just let us know and we are super happy to help you. Okay. Okay. So now that I have talked so much, I'm sure you're slowly getting tired of my voice, and I'm really excited for the part that's supposed to be more interactive to start. Okay, so we are holding a little partnership mock conversation. So you can get ready and think about who wants to volunteer for this. But as we all know, we are incredibly friendly people. Nobody's going to be ridiculed. Before we get started, a couple of little things that I want to stress, what IYAFP does and does not do in partnership conversations. First thing, an elevator pitch. is great. An elevator pitch is called this because imagine you're standing in an elevator, you have maybe 5 stories to go, and you're meeting an interesting partner in the elevator. So you need to be able to talk about IYFP quickly and precisely. So this is something that's great and that is really good to practice. When I came on board of IYFP, I honestly talked to my friends and family, and I was like, please give me 30 seconds. I just want to do this brief pitch to make sure that I get it right and that it sounds good and that it's just coherent and makes sense. A thing that we do not do is letting other organizations use our logo without permission. So this is part of the MOU as well, and it's just really important because sometimes it happens that maybe with the best intentions, a partner will put our logo on a flyer or a resource or something, but it might not fully work with our values. So yeah, just be aware of that. What sometimes happens is that partners are really excited about reaching out to youth, and they may just ask you to share the names, addresses, numbers, etc. of our members with them. So don't do this because we for one reason it's just illegal to share data, and the other one is we don't just want people to use youth data, because what still often happens is that youth are being exploited. And by exploited, I mean in this case something like asked to fill out surveys, but they don't get anything in return. Yeah, when you want to apply for a grant together with a partner, that's awesome. And we've had really, really positive experiences with that. And I've received that question quite a bit over the last while via email. Yeah, we are super happy to support you, but please check in with the executive team before you're doing that. Okay, so these were a few little things that I think are good to know for a partnership mock conversation. Okay, so what I want you to imagine is that you have identified an interesting partner. They're a really interesting organization. Let's say they are providing services and information about family planning, but they don't have a strong focus on youth. So you think they're an interesting partner. They're in a good location. They have great resources, but for some reason, youth are not really using their services much. So you're like, great, let's connect our youth with them to make sure that the word is spread and that we just bring more attention to these amazing services. But of course, there might be reasons why youth haven't been attending their services. So you want to make sure that they're aware of youth needs and to really, give you a seat at the table. So you don't just want to have a brief look at their services and tell youth to go. You want to help them design their services. Anyway, so imagine you have reached out to them, they have responded, they have shown interest, and now you're going to meet up with them for the first time. And it's not just the one person there who has responded to your emails, but also their colleague. So their colleague has never heard of IYFP. And now we're going to practice twice what that partnership mock conversation would look like. So my thinking was, before we are forcing anybody else to try this conversation out, we could get Otuk to do like a 30-second elevator pitch. How are you feeling about this? Okay, and at this very moment, I'm getting a message saying technical difficulties. The organizer is disconnected and the webinar might end in 5 minutes. Okay, so let's hope for the best and that Otuk's connection comes back. Any of our CCs, are you excited to do an elevator pitch? And are you able to unmute yourself? Okay, unfortunately, if that's not the case, I am not able to unmute you.
Arietta?
Otuk, are you back?
Yes, sorry.
Perfect. Cool.
Yeah.
We had some issues, so I was trying to get others to speak, but unfortunately, I'm not technically able to. So I think you have to do this. I don't have the rights to do that. But Otuk, I was actually starting with trying to make you give an IYFP elevator pitch. Can you do this?
Yeah.
You have 30 seconds.
So before, yeah, okay. Before getting to that, I just given you the organizer status, so you can actually do whatever I can do.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. That. Okay. I feel a little fish. Okay. Let me know. Let me know when to start.
Yes, and for everyone who's now sitting there, there's no like right or wrong with this. So let's see where Otuk takes it. So Otuk, go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I am working with an organization called International Youth Alliance for Family Planning. Basically, we are a network of young people around the world who are passionate about family planning, and we are working towards advocating for access to family planning and sexual reproductive health services around the world through different activities in more than 80 countries right now. Well, what else can I say?
I think that was a great start. Thank you, Otuk. Is there anyone who wants to comment on this? And I'm really sorry to tell you, Otuk, but I still can't see the participants, so I can't unmute them. So you'll have to do this.
Okay.
Oh, it's happening. It's happening. Okay. Oh, yes. I can. Folks, can you raise your hands if you're interested in saying something? And that can be anyone, right? Like you don't have to be an IYFP country coordinator.
Sure, yeah. Anyone. So Akita wants to respond, but she's having a problem with her mic, so she's saying, can she type? Of course you can type.
Please. Please, Ankita.
Do we take questions or we wait before taking questions?
We will have a little section on general questions after this. So in this part, I would love to briefly talk about Otuk's elevator pitch and then do a mock partnership conversation with someone.
Okay. So Tamani is saying that kind of set the tone and the idea of what the pitch is. I think she's responding to what I just did.
Perfect. So do you think there was anything missing, Tamani, or anything that you would have stressed more, or maybe anything that you liked in particular?
Okay, while we're waiting for Tamani, Michael, Tim from Uganda just raised a hand. Michael, I have unmuted you, so you can unmute yourself and speak. Michael?
Oh, that's a pity.
Yeah.
From Tamani, is there any answer?
Okay. I was saying I am Michelle Atim from Uganda. I really thank Mr. Otuk. He did a great one. He did a
Say
great
again,
one.
Michelle,
I liked
please.
it. It's good.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear.
All right. I'm saying, are you listening to me?
Yeah, we can hear you perfectly, Michelle.
I'm saying Mr. Otuk did a great one. I think it's a good one.
Amazing, thank you. Do you want to do a quick
Yeah.
elevator pitch as well?
He has done it already.
No, but do you want to do one?
Pardon?
Michelle, would you like to do a 30-second max elevator pitch?
Hello.
Okay, I
Hello.
think we're having some technical difficulties again, unfortunately.
Yeah. Thank you, Michelle.
Okay,
for
anyway.
your
Yeah, thank you, Michelle. And to everyone, the reason why we are doing this here is that I really want you to know how important it is to have your initial seconds lined up. It's really helpful in case you're like feeling insecure or you're not sure where a conversation is going. It's incredibly helpful if you have your main information all together and if you have like a coherent, clear way of presenting it. So I really think it's a great thing to practice no matter for what organization do you work for.
Yeah, so Tamani just responded saying maybe probably an emphasis on the work that you are doing in country, or maybe that you are intending to do with IRFP. So that could be something that could be added in the elevator pitch, I guess.
Actually, Tamani, I think this is a great comment. I think it would not necessarily go into the first 30 seconds because you shouldn't overwhelm a partner either with information. But I think it's a very crucial part of a partnership conversation. And it's actually one of the questions that I noted for our mock conversation. So what I'd love to do now is to give that one a try because we still have a couple of minutes left. And maybe we just can do a little conversation with somebody who's volunteering.
Just to read this quickly, Ankita says, "Hi, Ankita, CC for India with IYAFP. We're a network of youth, and we work towards great youth advocacy and making contraceptives accessible to youth. I have heard about your organization and would like to talk about possible collaborations."
Nice, Ankita.
Yeah. So I see people,
really like
a few people have raised their hands. Maybe these people want to volunteer to do the exercise with you.
Yay, amazing. I'm so excited. Your pick, Otuk.
Okay, I'm going to unmute Lo. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this name correctly though. You're going to excuse me, Lo, if I'm not pronouncing it right. But you unmuted, you can now speak. Lao is from Ivory Coast, by the way. Côte d'Ivoire.
Hi, Lou. Are you here? Can you hear us?
Oh, it's Lou. Okay.
I don't know. That's how we would say it, but you might be right. Can you say something?
Yeah, maybe she's struggling with a...
Who else wants to volunteer for the mock conversation? For the mock interview, basically.
Well, I'm not seeing any hands raised. Sadia, you want to go? Oh, Sadia is not even attentive.
I think Sadia had some issues. Ankita, I really liked your elevator pitch. Would you be interested in doing the interview?
Yeah, but I think Ankita is having issues with her microphone.
Good. Who else? We can also just do it question by question. So you only have to answer one question. And believe me, it's not going to be awful. Otherwise, I think, Otuk, you will have to do it with me.
Yeah. Okay, I've seen a couple of other ends. Maria, maybe. Let me meet Maria.
Maria,
no,
do you want to?
Yeah, I just want other people to participate as well.
Perfect. I mean, me too, but in case we can't make it work.
Okay, Maria is
Hi,
up. You don't.
hello. Can you hear me?
Hi,
Yes.
Maria.
Hi, I'm Maria. I'm CC from Argentina. And yeah, I'd love to do it.
Mucho gusto.
Perfect.
Thank
We're
you.
so happy to
Gracias.
have you. De nada. Okay, but we will do this in English for everybody else to understand.
Okay.
So, thank you so much for volunteering, Maria. I'll ask you a couple of questions, and just imagine that you haven't shared your information with me in detail before, and that I'm a healthcare provider, okay? And you
Okay.
want us to partner, and yeah, just you want us to know what you're doing.
Okay.
So, hi,
Do you
Maria.
need?
Thank you so much for coming into our office today. It's really nice to have you, and we're so curious to learn more about what you're doing. But yeah, how's your day so far?
It's perfect. Great. Thank you for having me. Would you like to know about IYFP or do you know something about our organization?
We took a very brief look at the website, and we know you're in many different countries, but maybe you can explain a little more what exactly you're doing.
Oh, well, okay. IYFP is the International Youth Alliance for Family Planning, and it's a youth-led initiative that provides tools and resources to give a voice to youth concerning issues such as sexual or reproductive health and rights or family planning. And what we do actually is to give this voice to youth so they can be part of the conversation and because they actually know what they need.
Amazing. Yeah, I believe that youth know what they need. And can you tell me what exactly are you doing in Argentina? What about Argentinian youth?
Well, for example, now in Argentina, we have a big issue with abortion and the decriminalization of abortion. So nowadays, I'm planning on webinars and workshops on the issue so people can have a grasp of what is really happening and what it means to be pro-choice or pro-life, because that is like people don't really know and they tend to confuse some notions.
What exactly do you mean by that?
Well, for example, with the pro-choice, people are saying that they are pro-abortion, that people actually want abortion to be the only option, or like a contraceptive also. And it's about teaching people that we need to learn about contraceptive first and sexual and reproductive health, and abortion will only be not a solution, but only an option for people who really don't have these tools.
I mean, yeah, as a healthcare provider for sexual and reproductive health services, of course we agree with you. But one question, so in our region here, we have a lot of issues with teenage pregnancy. Can you tell us what IYFP would do about that here in Argentina?
Well, I think first we need a lot of education on contraception, so people won't be in this situation. And if they find themselves in this situation, they should have options, they should have information, so as they can have or make decisions with the information they have. So not just to force people into doing something they don't want, but to actually tell them what their options are.
Yeah, that's very interesting. We love the educational approach, and this is why we have already developed a couple of resources. So can you just send us the email addresses of your members, and we will forward them to you, to them?
Well, unfortunately, that won't be possible because we are not allowed to share information. You understand, of course, because information is super private. But you can forward the emails to me, and I will make sure all of my members have the information and all of the people I can reach with my media.
Oh yeah, we absolutely understand. We're glad that you're protecting your members' privacy.
Yeah.
So how do you feel? Can we just take IYFP's logo and put it on our website so that we can show youth that we have youth voices in mind?
Well, regarding logos, I don't think that's the approach we have. We can make it, we can make like something regarding this part, I am not sure. Actually, we don't have to share the logos. I understood that, but what can we do when they ask like that, like to sponsor us?
Cool. Yeah, let's talk about this in a second. Yeah, no, I fully understand. We can figure these issues out later via email. So I would like to bring this back to our project managers and see where they think that youth involvement is the most necessary. So thank you, Maria, for coming in today, and we'll get back to you. We're looking forward to talking to you again.
Okay, no, thank you for having me. Bye, see you.
Bye. Thank you, Maria. How was that for you?
It was okay, it was okay. I had trouble with the logo.
Absolutely. And they will always ask you things and you don't know the answer, so you just
Yeah.
postpone it. So as for the logos, a little clarification. So what you would probably do is that if you work on a specific project with them, it would be okay to share the logo. And for that, you would still sign an MOU. So that means in the MOU, you will share our conditions, how we share the logo. And the MOU is signed by the executive. That means that the executive will already be informed. And so you would normally start with a project. And then if you decide for a general partnership, you would check in with the exec and then probably not necessarily, but maybe put it on the website. But it's not something somebody would ask you in the first conversation anyway.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah,
No,
the
but you
other
did
thing I would
great.
want
Thank you
to,
so much. Sorry, Otuk.
yeah, Maria, you did great. The other thing I wanted to add is that I feel if you go to a partner and you find yourself in a position where you've been asked questions that you don't have an answer to, just let them know that you'll come back to them with answers so that you can contact um, the exec us, or just say that you need to do a little bit of research or get a little more information about that, and then you can get back to them. That will give you time to learn about things, but also it will reduce the risk of you responding with a non-correct answer.
Absolutely. And there's no issue with that. You can always say you wanna check in with a global team or just think about it. So your answer was really good. I liked your approach about education. And I think one question that would have maybe come up would be, how can you work together? So make sure that if you're talking to an organization and you already have an idea how you want to work with them, that in your elevator pitch, you're already building connections to that element. So what I mean by that is the way you talk to someone also depends on who you're talking to. So if you're talking to an educational institution or a healthcare provider, media, just make sure that you're prepared beforehand and that you adjust your way of talking according to the partner.
Okay, Marietta, we have very few minutes to go, and
yes, I
we
think
have
we should do the
a few questions. Yeah, we have a few questions in the question box, so I would go ahead and read them quickly so that we can respond to them. So this is Mohammed Edaba is saying, question 1, is the process of partnerships often open all year, or is it like membership where it opens at some point and at some point it's closed? That's question number 1. Question number 2, do all local partners, applicants must submit through the form on the website? I mean, IYAFP site?
Thank you for those questions. So for the first one, no, you can always build partnerships. There are no slots for that. It can happen throughout the year. And for the second question, no. nobody needs to submit a request through the website. This is just one way of approaching us. But we want to encourage you to really reach out to partners. So that would not go through the executive team or the website at all, but it would be the CC reaching out. So yeah, it's not necessary at all to go through the website.
Great. Lou from Cote d'Ivoire is saying, I want to ask my question, but I don't know if you'll be able to hear me because of my poor English. Don't worry about that. But the question is, I just want to know if we have the right to build partnership with some youth organizations, not only in the field of family planning and SRHR.
Absolutely, Lou. I think that's a great question, and it really raises an interesting point. So IYAFP, of course, is a youth organization working in the field of SRHR and family planning, but with that we are touching on many areas. For example, youth participation, youth engagement in general, youth rights, really. And so you're more than welcome to partner with other organizations that are outside of this field. We just ask you to make sure that whenever you're doing a partnership, you have a clear idea of what you want to achieve.
Okay. Zifa Aku from Ghana is saying, hi, this is Zifa. Please, I would like to find out if the MOU is for a duration, say CC term or per each activity. We may have a partnership with an organization and it is just for just one off time. Like, I think she's asking whether there's a limit to the duration of the partnership that they have to make.
So MOUs are often for a specific time frame of, let's say, a year or 2 years or something like that. And you can adjust the MOU to whatever you need. So if you want it to be just for one specific project, that's perfect. And this is totally what it's great for.
Awesome. So those, okay. Yeah, so those are the questions
that I have. Are there any more questions? Perfect.
No,
I wanted to say one more thing about the mock interview. It's really important that you don't only know who you talk to, but also in what kind of a place you talk to. So for example, in Germany, you might talk about sexual and reproductive health and rights, but the term family planning is not as common. So just try to adjust whatever you want to say to your audience. And that can also mean like political backgrounds, etc. So you don't, like, in a place where abortion is a really difficult issue, you don't have to say in your elevator pitch, hey, our first and foremost goal is being pro-choice. So I just want to tell you, you can adjust the focus of what you're saying according to what is the most important for you in the specific situation. But of course, stay true to IYAFP's values.
Right.
Okay. Are there any other comments or questions?
I don't see any so far.
Awesome. Okay, thank you all for joining today. Really great. And if you have more questions in the future, feel free to email me or Brenda, who will soon answer those emails for you. So thank you all for your curiosity.
Yeah, thank you so much, Marietta, for taking the time to do this for us. It was an incredible presentation. Also, the interaction was just amazing. Thank you so much. And
thank you,
for
Maria.
everybody who came. Yeah.
And Ankita and everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming, guys. As I said before, this webinar is recorded, so don't worry if you came in late. Don't worry if the internet wasn't good. It's going to be uploaded soon on our YouTube, and I'll share it widely with everyone for your own references. And as Marietta said, if you have any other questions, please feel free to email me, to email Marietta, to email the exec, and we'll be able to support you. Otherwise, we have 2 minutes. I'll just let you guys go and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Happy weekend, and thank you especially to those who are not part of IY. Thanks for your interest. I hope this was helpful.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. A big shout out to Michelle and who's the person from Uganda that came in? Joeri, Deborah, and everybody who is not part of IYAFP country coordinators team. Thank you so
Roy.
much.
Bye.
Bye.